Welcome back to episode 19 of the Scrubbed In weekly podcast. Thank you ever so much for all the messages and support you've given us. I know the last few weeks we've touched on topics that are a bit somber.
Proper emotional episodes.
Yeah, we've talked about death, we've talked about feeling low, we've talked about mental health. So we thought we'll take it all the way back to med school and something we realised we didn't cover, and we're going to be talking about surgery. Surgical cases that me and Amz did together as medical students, and surgery once as a junior doctor. So I think the best thing is we'll get straight into it and we'll talk about 2 or 3 cases that me and Amz were able to participate in surgery. So which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the one case that sticks out, the colectomy.
Okay.
Just for our viewers, colectomy is when a segment of bowel was being taken out. It was an operation that me and Abdul went straight into. Do you remember what happened?
Yeah, I briefly remember. It's the same story. Is that the one where you got shook? Something happened?
Where the consultant lost it. So basically, me and Abdul have scrubbed in. I think we were third. Was it third? We were in third year, I think.
Yeah.
So fresh medical students, we're trying to be keen and all sorts. We've scrubbed in and gone near the surgeon. The surgeons thought, okay, fine, I'm gonna get these guys involved. Anyway, he gives me, he sort of cut out a segment of bowel and was in the process of suturing another segment on, and sort of said, here, you hold this piece of suture and hold some tension on it. He needed some tension on it. What were you doing?
No, I was watching. I was either holding something.
You were holding something as well?
I was holding something, or I was just there. So sometimes, so what Amz is, before we go on, as a medical student, you're allowed to scrub into theatres. So what that means is you're allowed to go and assist. It's at a very basic level. So you're either holding things, or like Amz did, you're holding sutures, or you're kind of moving away flesh and skin, just assisting the surgeon, basically, another pair of hands. So that's what it means to kind of scrub in. And it's the whole process. You wash your hands and you feel really cool. And them ones, you put the gown on and then someone comes and ties you up.
Exactly, it just makes you feel cool.
Yeah. So I don't know what I was doing. I think I was there. I was either holding something or just kind of witnessing, but I wasn't actively involved.
This is it. So I think what happened was he gave us a choice of who wants to scrub in, and we always took it in turns. And I think you were like, okay, all right, you scrub in and I'll watch. Okay, so I remember you let me actually scrub in. Yeah. So scrubbed in. Anyways, got to the surgeon, was holding the suture. And what happened was he said to me, keep this exact tension on it. So I had the tension on. And I think what was happening is subconsciously I was sort of increasing the tension. And then, I don't know what happened, he just
lost it.
Switched, and you saw it all.
He lost it.
I was holding the tension, and then he was like, what the F are you doing? And this is too much tension, you're going to rip out the bowel.
And he threw, whatever he had in his hand,
he threw a utensil.
Dashed it. And then he went ballistic at the nurse as well, because the nurse gave him the wrong one or something.
He dropped his utensils.
Yeah.
Right, he dropped the surgical clip or something.
Yeah.
And then the nurse was like, I only have one. And he was like, why the hell is this department shit? He looked at me and was like, what are you doing? You're going to rip out the bowel.
Yeah.
And then I was obviously just like...
Listen, so Amz had this mask on, right? So you wear the mask like that. I don't know what to do in this situation. I don't know if he was crying or... It was a traumatic experience.
You could just see my eyes.
So you have to imagine you're in the middle of surgery, and then all of a sudden the surgeon kind of flips out. And obviously you can imagine the type of personality surgeons have. He just flipped out, threw what he had in his hand, and then he just had a go at the nurse. And then the whole theatre is on edge. And this is a consultant surgeon, by the way, so not a middle grade or a junior doctor. And then it takes a few minutes for him to calm down. They finished the surgery, and I remember then he apologized.
No, but before that, you were just looking at. So I looked at Abdul for I
don't know what to do.
I didn't know what to do, so I just looked at Abdul yo. And he looked at me like, bro,
you're on your own on this one. You're on your own.
No, but I remember he said, "You okay?" Yeah. If I was crying underneath behind the mask, you're like, "You okay?"
I'm laughing, bro. That was mad.
And then I was like, relax, man, I'm not crying. That's wrong.
But it's tense. You know what it is? As a medical student, when they tell you to do something, you just do it religiously because you don't know any better. And I remember sometimes your hand used to cramp up because you're just there stuck holding this bit of thing, or you're holding a clamp, whatever, and you don't want to mess it up. So there's always that being on edge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So that was good fun.
So when they say hold something, you hold that with 3 hands if you had 3 hands.
Some of the stuff they make you do.
But it's real fun, and you have to admit, no matter what you were doing, I thought it was boring to watch surgery from afar in a corner. Unfortunately, a lot of students they force you to do that. But I think every time we got up and personal in the case, we got to, even if we were holding that suture or holding a device or whatever it was, it got you super excited and you were just like, wow, surgery is special.
I think all things in general, as soon as you watching something is fine, but you can become desensitized, so it's like it's the same old thing. But once you're actively doing something, once you get to hold things, and it gets even better as you progress, as you become a doctor, you get to start to make incisions, you start to suture yourself.
Exactly.
So just actively doing something, that's when you kind of take in, like, wow, surgery is amazing. Like, this is awesome.
Exactly. And the best operations we did, I thought, do you remember when we were in Ashford and we did the DHSs, the total knee replacement, where the registrar got, so he became the lead surgeon. He got us actually assist, drill, cut off the ends of the bones. It was amazing. I thought orthopedic surgery was the best.
And at that time we were quite keen on becoming surgeons, and it was a really, really good experience getting in. So I'd recommend all the medical students, especially if you want to pursue surgery, get stuck in. They love, the good thing with doctors, we love to teach, and you can always get stuck in, and no one will ever say no to a pair of hands. It's there because you can always hold a clamp, you can always do something. And even if you don't do anything, scrubbing in allows you, because now you're sterile, to get a close look in, so you can have a look at the bowel, you can have a look at the surgical procedure rather than on a screen or standing a bit back. So you can
only see so much from afar anyway.
So you have to always get surgery, you have to get your hands messy and dirty, which is good.
And make sure you ask. I think a lot of people are afraid to ask. We were always like, do you mind if one of us just scrubs in? And they were always like, yeah, cool.
And they're always more than happy, and you can learn a lot.
So I thought that was really good. I think the next best case that comes to mind is, do you remember when we did the rectal prolapse together?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them what your role was?
So my role was basically, so for the prolapse, it was a mesh procedure. So like, it's called bottom end. So what I did was I had to stand, so basically at the bottom of the table, it was this young gentleman, so I sat on a little stool and I had this little metal thing. You pull it through the back passage and you hold it up to keep it in place, and basically the surgeon attaches the back passage to a mesh and sticks onto the wall, because he had the prolapse. It was basically coming out. I don't want to talk about it.
So he was sat there.
So I was sitting there for like a while, man, just holding this little thing at the back of someone's bum.
The 2 legs over his shoulder. And he would just sat there with a stick up the bum.
And like I said, you can't move. So you're stuck there, and by the end of it, your hands are aching, your body's aching, and you're just stuck there, having stuck something up someone's bottom. But it's good, because I thought, you know what, I did my bit.
Exactly.
I helped in the surgery, stick my name down on that paper. Do you know what I mean?
Give it from a
but you do get to do lots of funny things. Like, you are always, like, I just came off an Obs and Gynae job, and like in the beginning they make you do bottom down. So putting like forceps and clamps, through the bottom end, and then holding it up so the surgeon can have a look on the screen, and you're just doing. I think the one thing you have to understand as a medical student, and even as a junior doctor, unless you'll be doing like the less exciting stuff. So there's a lot more holding, and holding things and certain things, and your hands are stiff. So I don't think people realize how much discipline and patience it takes in theatres, man. Because sometimes you're standing for 2-3 hours holding something, or holding back flesh,
or just holding a clamp,
and it takes a toll on you, and you can't move. Sometimes I'm thinking like, what's happening? And you're regulating breathing. So that's why I did.
And again, so you religiously listened to the consultant and just held that clamp and held whatever you need.
And you're basically dying inside.
So going on to that topic, so I was in a discectomy procedure. So that procedure is essentially working on the spine. Spine surgery is gruesome. It's gruesome the way they make the incision, tear it apart, put the clamps in, split it apart. So I was essentially holding the clamps. And I've never seen such a gory procedure, bro. I've seen orthopedic hips being done, knees being done. I've seen bowel resected, all sorts of stuff we saw together even. But that surgery, so I was holding it, and I was wobbling. I was literally wobbling like that. Now, obviously, I'm gonna man it out. I'm not gonna tell the consultant. And the clamp was closing in while he was operating.
Yeah.
And I was like, Amz, what's happening to you? You're going pale. Sit down right now. And then literally took the clamp off me and made me sit down. But yeah, I've nearly fainted.
To be fair, Amz had this. You used to faint taking bloods, as I remember in the beginning. You couldn't really take bloods. We had to practice on each other. Then you got signed off for that. But
so I needed CVT for that. So basically, what happened was the first time. Did you come with me?
No,
you didn't.
You told me about it. It was in Ashford, in Margate,
it was in
our
Margate.
first clinical rotation. We just heard about it.
So I think we had to go separately to do the phlebotomy shifts.
Yeah.
And I went to the phlebotomy shift, right? And it was the first time I'm taking blood. And what happened was she was like, "You look a bit shaky." I was like, "What do you mean? Give me the things." Anyway, I stuck the needle in. Next thing I know, I wake up and my feet in the air. I'm like, "Whoa, what's happened?" She's
When
like,
they told us, we were laughing.
she's like, "You passed out onto the patient."
Yeah.
So, anyways, I had to watch YouTube videos, then watch the phlebotomist do it. Then I had to practice doing it myself with like all the safeguarding measures in place. Everyone ready to catch me.
But now you're pro. It
goes to show that you can be.
You can overcome these.
You can overcome these small fears that you have. So but it was weird. I was watching surgery and everything, but I don't know why. As soon as I stuck a needle in,
But it happens, isn't it? It's little things that trigger it. Talking about gory surgeries, I think my one would trump it. So I don't know if anyone has seen a C-section. Maybe some people are, but I know we have loads of viewers that are non-medics. So the first time I did a C-section, so you cut open the tummy, you cut open the womb, and there's a lot of, in medicine we try to make the cut as small as possible, and we do a lot of tearing, so it follows the natural tear of the body or the skin, and it recovers better than making a surgical incision, right? And I remember they were just yanking it and pulling it, and as soon as it cut into the womb, it started squirting blood everywhere, and I had never seen a C-section before, and I was literally crapping myself. I was like, what?
Is this on the job?
Yeah, man, as F2. Like,
oh my god.
And so it's just me and the reg.
Yeah. It's just one incision across and then hand in and pull out the baby,
yeah, but you know when you're cutting it, sometimes it's a bit difficult and it's just bleeding.
Oh
one SHO or one of the junior doctors, the blood went into her eye. You know that? Because sometimes it's a bit difficult. Think of how much blood they lose. So one of our doctors, you know, she was traumatized. She did a C-section. Blood went into her eyes. She was wearing contact lenses at the time, and it just kind of messed her up. But it was a gory procedure. But it is a beautiful thing when you see. So this I assisted on, by the way, not something we saw. When you pick up the baby and the baby's kind of crying, it's covered in this gunky stuff. It's not that beautiful, but the process is beautiful and it's quite amazing. Like, if anyone, I'd recommend going to see a C-section. It's really good and assist. What was your first experience of opening the human body like?
Just for the record, you do know we saw a C-section together. You clearly forgot.
No, we saw C-section, but we never assisted in it.
Oh yeah, we didn't assist.
So like watching it, that's
what Gucci hat on the baby.
Oh my days.
So this father, for his newborn baby, bought a Gucci hat.
Yeah.
And he just put it on as soon as he was born.
And me and Amz were just looking at it and we were like, wow, life is special. And it got covered in blood and the gunk, the meconium.
The meconium and all of that, yeah.
But yeah, like I say, how did you feel when you kind of, because obviously we're so used to being medics, doctors, having done surgery, but how would you describe cutting open someone for the first time? Because, you know, you can't say to a random person, have you ever cut open someone or, you know, had bowel removed or...
You know what? It's surreal because what happens is in the operating theatre, right? If you think about it, the patient's there, but then we put all these covers on, all of the covers on, and we expose a certain region of, it just looks like a patch of skin or a patch of a piece of work, a piece of art that you're going to work on, essentially. So you kind of forget that there's a person behind it. But in a C-section and everything, if you do an epidural, the patient's awake and looking at you.
Yeah, and they're talking,
but in those operations, you can't, I think... You forget that there's for example, the orthopedic ones where you just expose the hip.
Yeah, you never realize.
And you're just working on a hip and putting real strength into push it into place and stuff. I think you forget. But my first time, obviously, you're like,
wow,
whoa, I'm cutting into someone.
What I think you're right, is because surgery is such a sterile procedure, meaning you can't touch it. You know, once something has touched something that's dirty, you can't touch it again. You forget that you're operating on a human body and you're just there stuck with the bowels or you're stuck with the womb or you're stuck with the hips or the shoulders, so you detach yourself. But sometimes what I used to do, especially in the general surgery, I just kind of remind myself like, yo, this is actually a human body, and I used to try to be grateful because, you know, we get the opportunity to do something not the average person do. To be able to open someone up, to cut them, to take something away from them, is in itself something amazing. So I used to always kind of remind myself like, yo, I'm removing the gallbladder of someone. Like, this is crazy to a certain extent. So I would recommend it. But yeah, that C-section was one of the surgical cases that kind of shook me, because the amount of blood I saw, because I did general surgery, so I did like gallbladder removals, removing the bowels or hernia repairs, and they were very controlled. But C-section, man, like the amount of blood I saw, I was and the one thing with medicine is, right, as soon as you become a doctor, you get this free pass to do what you want in terms of surgery. So you're expected to get hands deep, and you not having seen anything, you panic, so you don't know what you're supposed to do, and they expect more from you. And I remember that surgery, like you, so when you're closing the womb, you hold it tight, he makes the suture, then you loosen it, so he closes it and he works his way across. Imagine this is the womb, you're cutting across it, hold it, let him tie it, loosen it, tighten it, and he goes to me, he goes, until your hand is hurting at the end of it, you didn't do a good job, bro. Until
your hand is hurting?
Yeah, because you're holding the suture, right, for a good 15-20 minutes while he stitches it across. Bro, do you know what I did after on the letters? I was so the people were watching it on YouTube, because my hands were shaking, bro. I couldn't write properly. I couldn't even hold the pen properly. That's how tight I was holding it, because I didn't want to mess it up, man. But surgery is super fun. I think we should be grateful. It is an honor to a certain degree. Sometimes you do get immediate relief. People that are having gallstones, gallbladder, you know, they're getting this pain. We get to help them. It's life-saving for loads of people. People get new hips, new shoulders.
All of that.
It is amazing. And I would definitely recommend for all the medical students, get involved. And I think it's probably good we can give some tips on how to get involved in theatres.
I think not just in theatres, get hands-on, and just make sure you ask the consultant, the regs, whoever's on, to get really involved, not just to watch. Watching is boring, to be honest. Get involved. So make sure you ask. I think that's number one. That's the first step, and you'll find that everyone is keen. And I think the next thing is to just actively look for opportunities where you can. So if you actually are fixated on becoming a surgeon, so for example, we went on a couple of courses. You went on to the surgical course. I went into the START course, in fact, as soon as I started F1. So there are courses out there which really sort of help your surgical skills. For example, do you remember the ESMSC course? So we mentioned,
which countries did we go for that?
So that was in Greece.
Athens,
right?
Yes.
It was in Athens that we went for. It's a surgical course where they trained you on first sort of simulated models, and then we were operating on
I think it was pigs.
Yeah, exactly. So, on animals and on high fidelity equipment. And what we found was that, so remember the laparoscopic training that they did? So then that again translated into an F1 surgical competition that we did, and I won that competition.
Oh yeah, you're telling me.
Yeah, because I had practiced during med school on how to handle laparoscope and how to do all sorts of tasks. So get hands-on, look for courses.
I'd recommend. So the course I did was by the Royal College of Surgeons, and bear in mind, guys, a new platform we launched called Medigate, www.medigate.co.uk will have all the different courses, especially for surgery. So go check out the website. It's also got an online portfolio, so you can have a look at that. But one of those courses I found that was really beneficial for me in medical school was the basic surgical skills course by the Royal College of Surgeons. And what that did was taught you how to do suturing, it taught you how to tie knots. And what that means is it equipped me with the skill set. So when I went to assist in a surgery, I was confident enough to say, hey, do you know what? Let me close up. Let me finish off the suturing. Let me tie the knots. And because I've already practiced in a safe environment when doing it on a real life patient, I was confident. And surgery, as all things, practical related, the more you do it, the better you become. You know, doing something 10 times will never be as good as the guy that has done it 100 times. It's just the nature of it. So equip yourself with the skills where you are then confident to be able to do it on a real life person with supervision, and just get better and better and better at it. And another important thing with surgery is attend these courses, so the ones in Greece, the basic surgical sciences, the competitions, but have a logbook, a portfolio of all the different
just cases.
Sorry.
Don't just so you don't want to just go into theatre and walk out and just say, yeah, great experience, because the surgical training path is very competitive, and so you need to have a log of everything you're doing. So you can have, in medical school, if you really wanted, you probably could log over 100 cases easily that you've seen. So the rule is obviously C1, do one, teach one. But you need to have seen a lot to then be confident in knowing how to, for example, do an appendicectomy. So make sure you log, and Medigate again has the platform for you to log all of your surgical cases as well, which you can then print out and take to interviews and so forth.
Definitely agree. Sometimes it's really easy to do at medical school and be like, do you know what, I'm going to start my portfolio F1. But because you get so busy in F1, you kind of keep putting it off. So from day one, from the first cases, and the good thing, guys, is even if you don't assist, even putting down witness, so witnessed a appendicectomy, or witnessed a hernia, or witnessed bowel perforation, or witnessed hip, it starts like that. So the key thing with surgical, some advice we can give initially is every case, it doesn't matter if you went in, if you scrub, log it, make sure you're a member of the Royal College of Surgeons, because that gives you points. It's free as a medical student. Once you graduate, you can pay for it, but it gives you points. Be active and involved in teaching surgical cases to younger years. So I would recommend, especially for surgery, because it is so competitive, start creating this amazing portfolio from the get-go. Get involved, start assisting, go to these courses. So now you're confident, and once a surgeon knows, like, do you know what, because the blocks are 3 months at a time. Once the surgeon knows that, do you know what, Amz is really good at closing up, Amz is really good at suturing, do you know what, you finish off. And the surgeon saying to you is like, that's amazing. Like, that is the highlight.
Because they find it boring. The main,
because they've done it 100 times. I'm saying 100, thousands of times. But for you, it's important, and you get the practice.
Exactly.
And it's an acknowledgement. Like, I'm finished off, I'm heading off. Do you know what I mean? And you close up, you clean a wound, you dress it, move on. So in terms of surgery, those are some of our experiences. We're keeping the episodes brief because we know we talk too much and we continue going on forever. But I would say, be proactive.
Yeah, so I think be proactive, get really involved, start teaching, look for opportunities to advance your skills, and log.
Keep a logbook. I think that would put you in a good position, good standing to move forward. And especially as an F1, because you have to do a general surgery job, that is the time.
Yeah.
Especially, and because I was working in Coventry at the time, I was able to assist in so many. I know F1s that have done more than 80, 90 first assists. And that's very difficult.
My mate has done 162 cases. So he went for his exam recently. But so he's an F2, but over the last 12 months, he's racked up 162 cases, because when he started, he knew how to suture, so he closed up. He didn't obviously do majority of the procedures,
but that's enough.
He
that's
closed
what counts.
up, and he ended up doing a few appendicectomies on his own.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know people, even in plastic surgeries, a couple of the guys I work with, they basically lost training posts to other guys who had just done 20 more procedures. Literally. Exactly. Surgery is a numbers game. One thing I've learned is surgery is a numbers game. And you can imagine the vast majority of people will have the courses, will have the certificates competition, but you will never trump the guy that's done 50 more cases than you, because that is real life hands-on experience.
Exactly.
So that's one advice from us. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's it. We've covered our experience, the funny bits and bobs, given our advice. That's it.
Fine.
Can't really think of anything else.
So we'll wrap up today's episode. Let us know once again, feedback, any particular topics you want to talk about. But enjoy the rest of your week, guys, and we'll see you next week, Sunday, 6 o'clock.
And don't forget to leave a review.
Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. We keep forgetting that. We're on YouTube, we say that. But yeah, make sure you comment, like, subscribe. And as always, our doors are open. Give us a shout if you need help with anything.
Sweet. See you next week.